Hello everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel where we have some fun in store for you today. I'm so excited to be joining Ardith, Laurel, Justine, and Tiffany on this hop, where we talk about some of the things we've forgotten about. Techniques, ways to make cards, stuff that we just know we love, but we haven't done in a long time. So I'm very excited to bring my video to you. Today I'll be going over 3 techniques or 3 products that I have not used on my cards in a while and can't figure out why, because they're great. So be sure to join us on this hop. It is going to be fantastic. You can find the order below in the description box, as well as any supplies I use that might interest you. So let's get started. All right, let's jump into it. First one, chunky embossing powder. Goodness, I don't pull this out enough. I love this stuff. So we'll get into the powder in a second, but the first thing I'm using here is a Distress Sticky Ink Embossing Dauber. Now this is my first time actually using it, and I will be using this a whole lot more. I love it. So basically I'm putting sticky ink where I want it onto my card panel. I'm going to get this chunky embossing powder to give me this really realistic look. Now it's chunky, which means the first time that you dry it, you're going to get sort of this, that's when it's dry. We'll heat emboss it in a sec. But you're going to get sort of this speckled water look. It looks really organic and I love it. I think it's fantastic. You can use it for ice on holiday cards as well. You're getting sort of that slick surface, especially if you're doing maybe ice skating or something, a scene like that. So this is, I'm only going to do it one time because this is the look I want for that particular card. Very kind of chunky looking, not smooth. But I kept this in this particular product in here to tell you the next level you can take it. Before we get there, this is a hack I'm including, that if you use this particular tape, now this one's from Spellbinders, but a tape that you can see through, then you can mask off stuff that has angles or, you're cutting out maybe an image because this tape is see-through. So I like this. I get asked a lot what this particular tape is and what my favorite sort of that masking tape is. I have many, but this one is good for seeing through. Now I'm taking that dauber and I'm going on to my image here. Now I don't believe this image is still in stock. I will look though just in case. But I just covered that with the sticky ink. Now I'm going to pour over my chunky embossing powder. Now notice I pulled off the mask because I put back on the mask every time I put the ink on it because I don't want the bottom part of my snow globe to be glossy. You can do that. Couple different hacks I'm going to shout out throughout this video. One is make sure you let your heat tool heat up. 2, I'm using some silicone tongs to hold my project here so I don't get my fingers burned. And so what you want to do is to get a smooth look where your entire image is covered in this glossy look. You want to do it a couple times with the chunky embossing powder. You can get this look from regular embossing powder, but it takes longer, I believe. This is just kind of 2 or 3, and you get this beautiful smooth look. And for a snow globe, I thought that was perfect. So I'm going to pause the video here for you to get a closer look at the differences here. Love this embossing powder. Can't believe I haven't pulled it out in so long because there's so many things you can do. Just get outside that box and have fun with it. So that's the first thing that I haven't done in a while. Let's move on to the second one. All right, number 2, making images silhouette, even if they're intended to be colored. So I am pulling out this stamp set. Now this set is already silhouette. This is from Catherine Puller, and I wanted to show you that this is what it would look like should you just stamp in black ink, but maybe you don't have silhouette stamps. Maybe you have this, something like this. This is from Hero Arts, one of my favorite all-time background stamps, by the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make the picture with the Santa and the deer. I'm going to make that a silhouette. I'm only leaving this particular example in here for you to get the thought juices flowing because you can do this with so many of your things. Maybe you have a scene in the woods and you have a deer stamp and you want to just color him in. So that's basically what I'm doing. But I'm going to keep a few of the other bits of this card in here just because I want to talk about some more additional tips that might be useful. So I'm actually going to turn this seemingly supposed to be A2 size card into a slimline. And you can do that with your background stamps or with your stamps. So you can see, obviously, the very top of this card is empty. That's okay, because I actually want to use that for part of my scene. So I decided that I was actually going to just stamp the whole thing at this point. At first, I thought I was going to leave off the top, but nope. I go in, I'm using my Misty tool. I'm going to stamp this, and I'm just going to get the full background stamp onto my slimline cardstock. Now I'm going to do ink blending, but because this ink, I tried it on Bristol Smooth cardstock first, ink smudged all over, I decided to go back to regular cardstock and do it that way, which worked out better with my ink blending. Another tip, I use a paint edger to clean off my stamps. It's the same material. If you haven't watched my hack video recently, I have pretty much all of these in there. But yes, that's what I use to clean off my stamps. Now I'm going to take some of this this is the mint tape from scrapbook.com, any masking paper that you have, because I'm going to make a moon. And so I just need a circle die cut. You'll see the circle die cut or die come in again in the next forgotten technique. But for right now, we're going to make a moon. When you're making a moon, you want to start off with a glowy type of color right around the moon. So whether that's going to be a light color, you can use yellow, whatever color you want. Nighttime though, I'm going with purple into blues. So I take that purple, then I put the blue, and I'm going to get this really pretty blend. The last one I take is the black soot, and that's just on the very edges. It sort of gives this shadow look, and it gives more of a nighttime scene look, right? So I get that done. And then we're going to pull off the moon mask, which is always the most fun part, in my opinion, to see the big reveal. So we're going to get that off. And you can notice it almost looks like the moon is like glowing. And that's because we did sort of those two separate colors. And you can add more gray or anything to the moon that you want, but I'm just going to leave it like that. We're not going to actually finish this card because I'm more showing you the technique that I forgot. But look how I'm extending the background up into the top of the card. So you can do that. Make sure you look at your stamps with new eyes and see, can you make different size cards with them? Don't limit yourself. So once I get that done, this is the actual technique that I want to share with you, and that is to make stamped images silhouettes. You don't always have to sit there and color the whole time. You can actually just pull out a black marker and fill them in. Now, when I finish this card off screen later, I will probably make this sort of like, I don't know if I'll color those houses in with color. I might just do like a black and white kind of look and make the sky sort of the focal point. I'm not decided 100%. Let me know in the comment section what you think I should do. What would you do? Would you color the bottom with regular colors, or would you keep it simple? So there is that technique. I'm going to pause this so you can get a good look. So yeah, a lot there. That's a lot to unpack. You use your stamps to extend in the upper, do silhouette, all that good stuff. All right, let's move into technique 3 that I have forgotten about, and that is the bokeh effect. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've never been great at this technique, and that's probably because I just never really did it that much, although I really love the way it looks, and I always think it's really fun for like a celebratory card. So I looked through my stash, and I actually didn't have a lot of circle stamps. So we're going to improvise a little bit. But before we do, this was the most popular hack over on my video, and that is to make these acetate sheets one, because we don't like separate acetate sheets. So any stamp company that's listening, if it's possible, just go ahead and do this step for us. But if not, grab out your packaging tape and create this into one sheet so you're not going to lose it anymore. But yeah, that was the hottest ticket over there. So thank you to whomever shared that with me. I shared it with you all, and you seem to love it. So, okay, let's get into this. Now, like I said, I'm going to improvise a little bit. I picked some light colors. The bokeh effect, you really want to stay as light as possible with your stamps. I went a little bit dark on the pink. The pink is deceiving from Catherine Polar. I think it's Rose Petals. It's actually darker than I had anticipated. However, I think a little bit of a darker color is okay, because you do want that the white bokeh, which is like the last thing that we do on the card, to kind of stand out a little bit. So I kept a little bit of this in here. I'm just showing you I'm stamping. I had empty circle stamps that were bigger, But I show you in a little bit how I'm able to get sort of that medium or large circle solid stamp because I did not have one in my stash, so I made one. So we'll see how that comes out in a sec. So here we go. I have the mint green, I have the pink, the purples, and then I'm going to go just continue to go back in and create circles all over my background. You can put your sentiment down already if you like, that's fine. I chose not to do that. I'm going to do that last with a very dark black VersaFine Clair Nocturne and a very small sentiment. So again, not finishing cards 100%. I like to have cards almost finished to about a 90% if I don't have full mojo going. I just kind of like to do what I can with backgrounds and then just pull them out when I'm ready to finish it. All right, so let's get into making my circle stamp. So I just run my die, my circle die, through my die cutting machine with foam. This is craft foam you can get from the store, and I wanted 2 layers, so I'm just going to put them together, and then I'm going to use some scrapbook.com smart glue. Smart glue from that store dries tacky. So you can use Tombow mono adhesive in the green bottle. You can use, I think the 2-way glue pen is tacky. Any glue that dries sticky, you are good to go. Because once this dries on my foam, I'm going to be able to use it on my acrylic block. So that's the intent with this technique, okay? So I'm going to put that aside to dry. I go back in and I'm adding a little bit more circles, but now we're back and it's dried and it's on my acrylic block, and I'm just going to very lightly press it onto my panel. So I'm getting geeked out over this one because I made my own circle. I didn't have one and I was like, should I buy one? No, you shouldn't. You should make your own. And so that was very simple to do. And it added exactly what I was looking for, quite honestly. So I'm going to go back in now with my white craft ink. So this is a pigment ink, and you can use any pigment ink you have. There's lots of brands that make it. Just pull that out, and that's going to give it that bokeh effect, almost like I don't know if it's an anomaly from photography, but just sort of that extra layer. Now, another thing you can do is heat emboss with some embossing powder of the ones that you used with the craft ink. You can add gold, pops, you can add whatever you want. But this is really just a super fun technique. I had a great time with it. I thought it was great fun. So after I get done with the actual bokeh technique, I'm just going to decide to do a very simple happy birthday right in the center. Now, one thing I showed you all to do, and that is to use a clear piece of acetate in your Stampin' platform to get a perfect alignment with your stamp. I did not do. I did not do that. And it's not straight. It's not straight either, but it's doable. It's keepable, if we will. So that's really the last thing I do in this card is just stamp out happy birthday. Can't recommend VersaFine Clair enough. Nocturne, it's super crisp, black. Just don't put your fingers in it or you will smudge. All right, that will do it for this video on this hop with these amazing crafters, Ardith, Laurel, Justine, and Tiffany. Hop on down to the description box. You'll find the next one in the lineup and head over and find out what they're making because it's awesome. If you are interested in anything I used in this video, that will be listed in the description box below as well. And I will see you in the comments down below or in all the other videos. Bye-bye.